Redundancy is where, for whatever reason, your employer has to close down or they're going through some kind of restructuring, but it leads to your job disappearing, as it were. They should have a meeting with you to discuss why it is you've been selected for redundancy. They have to, establish what the criteria was for you being chosen. Now, they can look at things like your disciplinary record, your attendance record, your skills and your aptitude. But if they selected you for things like, your gender, your race, your disability, for example, those things won't be considered fair. If you don't think that your selection, is fair, you still have the right to appeal against it, in which case you write a letter to your employer appealing against the dismissal, as it were, and they should have a meeting with you to discuss the situation. You do have some standard rights, and that's the right to be paid your unpaid wages, holiday pay, notice pay. If you've been there for 2 years or more, you would be entitled to redundancy pay as well. There has to be some form of consultation. They've got to discuss the reason why you've been made redundant, what criteria you fall under. But the objective of consultation is to see if there's any alternative to making you redundant. So it means offering you any alternative work at a different site, at a different location, a lower paid job even. It is based upon your age and length of service. So if you've been with your employer for 2 years, you will qualify for the redundancy payment. One thing you've got to bear in mind is that you only get half a week's pay up to the age of 22. Between the ages of 22 and 41, you get 1 week's pay. And between the ages of 41 and over, you get 1.5 weeks' pay. And this is for every complete year of service. The employer is only obliged to pay you for 20 years service. So if you've been there for like 25 years, they're only obliged to pay you for 20 years. Notice is based upon your length of service. If you've been with your employer for more than a month but less than 2 years, you'll be entitled to 1 week's notice. So in essence, you get 1 week's notice for every complete year you've worked with your employer, up to a maximum of 12. However, if you've been working for your employer for like 15 years, for example, you'll only get the 12 weeks notice.